Oh, right. I'm doing the intro. Sorry.
Try again.
My bad. Can you restart that, Rem?
We're still recording, just roll with it.
What? How could you just roll with it?
Just take a few seconds, then do your intro, and you can just trim the spit out.
God damn it, Remlice.
It's called being professional.
Your face is professional.
I know.
Hey everyone, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen, and welcome back to another episode of Adeptus Podcastus. Joining me again today is Michael from Tactica Imperialis.
Hello, everybody.
And Remlice from 40K Theories.
Hello, everyone. I apologise if my voice sounds weird. I'm still recovering from a very bad case of the flu, so I'm going to be munching on cough sweets throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, I think
I'm sure Papa Nurgle loves you.
He loves me too fucking much.
To be fair, he let you live.
I know, just so I can spread it again. But hey.
What a jerk.
I suppose so. All right. In the news this fortnight, because literally as soon as we stopped recording the last episode of Adeptus Podcastus, everything just sort of happened. So you may remember back to the last episode of the podcast, we were speculating about a little teaser that got posted while we were recording. And I am slightly disappointed to report that it isn't Necrons. It's the Custodes. I'm sure you all know this by now, but at the New Year's Open Day, it was announced that we'll be getting the codices for the Adeptus Custodes and the Thousand Suns.
It should have plainly been the squats.
I saw that poster and I just thought Necrons. Necrons. It looked so much like Necrons.
Yeah, admittedly it did, but hey, look on the bright side. The Custodes are getting a fully fledged codex with more than just 2 fucking units.
Even those pesky Sisters of Silence are not in there.
They'll probably
I
get
knew
their
that
own.
was coming.
They'll probably get their own codex in the future.
That actually, it does really make me hopeful that the Sisters of Silence will actually get the same treatment as the Custodians.
So think
we
of it,
might get.
So think of it this way.
We might get God damn it, Remlice. Go.
So think of it this way. You're going to get a Sisters of Silence codex with a whole bunch of new units, possibly new vehicles, possibly even like a new version of like the Penitent engines or something similar to that.
I don't see them using a Penitent engine,
No.
although in the Emperor's Legion they did pretend to be Sisters of Battle.
Well, to be fair, I can't see the Sisters of Silence losing from this, other than the fact they've lost their big, bulky tank units to go with them in the form of the Custodes. That's all they've lost, and they'll get units to sort of fill that void in the form of their vehicles and whatever other units
I
they get.
personally think it's going to be a complementary codex for Imperial Soup. I mean, if you look at the Custodian Codex, you throw Guilliman in there, and it is amazing.
Isn't that true of every Imperial Codex?
It works a little bit better with them because rerolling ones, they hit on 2 up. They wound usually on 2 up. With Guilliman in there, they're rerolling everything. Just about. They're not rerolling everything, they're rerolling ones. But their own captains can do that, but then they have a Guilliman to worry about.
Yeah, I won't go through the whole details of what's coming for the Custodes because by the time you're watching this, it's been out for most part of a week. But their heroes, 2s and 2s, strength 5, toughness 5, 6 wounds with a 2-up save. They've got a pretty powerful, I think it's their sort of, I don't know what their army-wide special rule is, a 5+ invulnerable save and a 6+ Deny the Witch, or 6+ Ignore Mortal Wounds in the Psychic phase. And most of their units seem to have, or at least some of their units seem to have, it's infantry and bikers, get +1 invulnerable as well. So they're most of the time going to be 2-up, 4-up on their infantry and bikers.
Speaking of bikers, jet bikes.
Yes.
That are fully phallic.
Speaking of phallic, if Sisters of Silence
You
get
gotta
their own,
admit,
Oh, for God's sake, you two.
if Sisters of Silence get their own codex, does that mean their Forge World dildo tank will be part of it?
Oh god, yes it does, I hope.
Well, to be fair, pretty much everything that's Custodian has been ported over, so...
Well, we don't know the exact models yet as of recording of what is in the book. We do know that a lot of their Forge World stuff will be in it. One thing that I am excited about is the potential for brand new 40K exclusive units.
Go on.
Well, there's nothing confirmed yet, but if they do want to make the two armies different, instead of, well, I'm just going to buy my Custodians from GW and play in every single 30K game that I see.
Oh, right. There's going to be some units that aren't going to be available for 30K. I don't see that personally, but okay.
Well, from a business standpoint, I do. Otherwise, Forge World's going to lose a lot of money since Custodians are one of their top-selling armies.
Yeah, but by that logic, therefore, they should make some Custodian stuff 30K exclusive, not 40K exclusive.
They are.
We think they are, anyway. We haven't seen the finished book yet.
Yep.
But yes, the Custodians have got a lot going for them, and one thing that is probably most worthy of mention, I think, is a rule they've got called Sworn Guardians. I want to bring this up because it's their version of overscore. So if they have this ability, they overscore objectives no matter how many enemies are there, unless an enemy unit has an ability like theirs, where most
like
models.
OBSEC.
Yes, admittedly, in most games this won't make a huge difference, but it is very important for Custodians to have that sort of a rule, so it's worth mentioning, at the very least.
Now, the one thing I do want to mention about Custodians is, and this is before their codex and everything, this is just my little... I don't see them ever making an impact on the tournament scene.
To be fair, to make an impact on the tournament scene, unless you're playing some sort of mixed army like Imperial, you need to be pretty damn ridiculous to make an impact, because pretty much every army can do something obscene, but you have to do something truly obscene to get good in the tournament scene.
Yep. Like getting those extra rerolls, getting extra shooting phases with certain units, having dirt cheap units.
Well, they can get extra phases. They've got a stratagem that if one of their characters dies, he can attack as if it were the fight or shooting phase. And you also have another stratagem to allow you to pass your warlord on, like the Alpha Legion. If you have another shield captain.
I personally think that that's going to be farmed in tournaments.
No, you don't get Slay the Warlord until the last one dies.
Slay the Warlord isn't necessarily in tournaments. They have a different type of strategy for killing warlords and characters. They could just take Headhunter.
Right. I'm afraid you're speaking a language I don't understand right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just got done with an ITC game, an ICC tournament, and it was really fun. I got my butt handed to me, but it was really fun.
But that was a change of pace.
Well, I won 2/3 of my games. I just didn't win hard enough to place. The one army that actually did beat me was Eldar.
Right, fair enough. I don't know what to make. Sorry, I'm going to go for a random tangent, and I'll let you describe your experiences with Eldar in a second. I don't know if I like the system of if you butt stomp somebody, you get better rewarded, because that
isn't true.
But that's just what you said. You didn't win hard enough to qualify.
I didn't get all of the objectives during the games. I did actually... Well, I did a fair amount of damage to both of my opponent's armies. It's just that I didn't get the secondary, tertiary, and main objectives. I went for a different strategy. I went for a normal type of game versus the ITC missions, which are designed for this.
Right, so it was a case of the system beat you rather than you didn't win.
Yeah, because like I said, I won 2/3 of my games.
Okay, I see that. It sounded like a case of, I don't know, it's like the idea of like 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw, 0 for a loss. Obviously, that's going to cause problems for a large tournament.
Well, I did get 2,000 points in ITC, so for the wins. So I'm going to try, like, my goal for this year now is to get in the top 100 for Sisters of Battle players, and in before the jokes of, hi, you'll be the only one playing them, there were 2 other Sister of Battle players at this tournament. That's how good they are right now. People are buying them.
Good to know. What I was getting at, sorry, I don't think I made my point very well, is like the idea of having a system where having a game that is close is punished. Because is it a case of the amount you win by that matters, or the amount you score individually that matters?
The amount that you win by is almost not important.
Okay,
it's the points that you score during the game. For instance, if I took Recon and scored a point every turn, I would, at the end of the game, if we won 5 rounds, I would have all of those points. If my opponent took Old School and killed a bunch of characters and did all of the objectives for that, he'd have a whole bunch of points. So there's a lot of secondary things that we're fighting for while the main game is going on. And you don't just get the points for tabling your opponent. Like, you actually lose the chance of getting certain points if you table your opponent.
I'm sure, but I mean, in terms of the overall grand leaderboard, not the in-game who wins the match, in terms of the leaderboard, is winning a match 16-15 worse than winning a match 16-0?
No. If you win a game, you just get 1,000 points.
But the amount of secondary objectives you score is added to your total as a flat figure? Because, okay, right, I'll try and put this in...
Let me explain it a little bit better.
And now I've got
ITC scores you based on the amount of your win-loss record. And it keeps it in a database. Now, that shows how good of a player you are overall. But in the tournaments themselves, you get points for doing all of your objectives. So the score of winning getting 1,000 points for winning a game is not even calculated in the tournament itself.
Right. So let's say, for example, you play a game and you win it 5 points to 4. I don't know what the logical numbers are here. Let's say you win a game 5 points to 4.
You want to aim for about 20 points.
I'm being arbitrary just to try and help the viewers and myself understand. Let's say you win a game 5 to 4, and then you win a game 5 to 0. Does the game that you won 5-0 count for more points than winning 5-4?
Yes, you beat your opponent and he was worse.
Right, okay. Right, okay. That was what I wanted to get across, because I would have preferred a system where your skill as a commander, obviously, yes, you'd want to reflect the fact you won the game and you get points for that, but you get...
Your skill as a commander is rewarded during the game by additional points. If you score no points, you're not good at the game.
Yes, I get that, but rewarding players for beating...
For winning.
Yes, for winning is one thing, and I agree with that, but for winning by miles is a further reward. I would have preferred it if, let's say, a game you won 10-9 is worth the same as a game you won 10-5, because that way it shows how good you are, not how bad your opponent was.
Well, actually, most tiebreakers come down to how bad your opponents were. Have you ever played Magic the Gathering?
Once.
Okay, so I'm guessing you never played the competitive scene. What about Yu-Gi-Oh?
10 years ago.
Vanguard.
Never.
God damn it, Michael, what do you do competitively?
Hearthstone.
I haven't played Hearthstone in yonks either. The only thing I've done competitively when I was younger was actual sport rather than anything online or in tabletop form. Like, Warhammer's only ever been my thing, and I never do tournaments. I don't know if I approve of a system where the winner of the tournament is the person who gets drawn against the worst opponent, not the best player.
But they're not drawn against the worst. They're not paired against the worst opponent. They're paired on people with relative equal scores to them.
It's just like
it's a balancing system.
I just think I would have preferred it if the amount of points you score in the game was the function, was the variable by which you got points, not the amount you won by. Because if you just curb stomp somebody, that is worth more than having a game where you're winning a game 25-0 24 might be worth less than winning a game 10-0. I don't know.
No,
I don't
because
know.
both players get their respective points, and it gets added into their average overall.
I don't know the calculus, but it comes across as like a curb stomp is more valuable to you than doing a lot of stuff.
It is. It is. Destroying your opponent like immediately and making it so that they can't do anything is of course worth way more. Think of it like a football game. You do better in a season. Well, I mean American football, not your weird little football.
Where you use your feet and a ball.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
We play football, you play hand egg.
Thank you, somebody knows that joke.
I love hand egg. Anyway,
you were saying.
If you best somebody in that, your scores are done relatively the same way.
Oh yeah, I know about goal difference. We have the same thing in actual football. We have goal difference, but goal difference...
No, I mean for the season.
Yeah, I do too. As in,
okay.
At the end of the season, how much you get for winning a game is just you win the game, you get this many points. The goal difference is used to determine the final ranking of people on equal points. Whereas it sounds like in this, winning a game 10-0 gets you actually flat more points, that rather than being something as a tiebreaker at the end, which I'm not sure if I like. But I'm not a tournament player. I see things very differently. I'm not going to argue with ITC. They know their shtick.
Okay. I thought I explained it pretty well.
You did, and I get what you were saying. Is just the way I see it is not how I would do it. That's all.
Weird. Hey, Redmans, do you play competitive stuff?
Nope.
Damn it, you guys are so boring.
We just have our priorities in a different place.
Although I will admit this, that tournament definitely made me realize that I am not a power player. I know how to build powerful lists. I was not prepared for what I came up against.
I've heard Dark Reapers would just expand. Dark Reapers are just the cheese of Eldar these days.
Yeah, my middle game, the one that I lost, the guy surrounded me with Rangers, so I couldn't move my first turn. Dropped in a whole bunch of swooping hawks to deal with my backfield. And he had 20 Dark Reapers using Inari, so they got the Soul Burst, which was insane. And they were small squads and a lot of them.
I heard it was
except for the one big squad of 10.
I thought it was run, shoot, run Dark Reapers that were the toxic thing. They were just like doing an old town.
They don't need to run, shoot, run if your opponent can't move.
True, it stops them being shot back, is what I mean. Like they can just pop out, shoot, pop back. Doesn't matter about... Yeah.
They just castle up in the middle with all their characters and fire.
Yeah, remind me never to go to a tournament.
Oh, I loved it. It was so good. And the person that beat me was actually a fan.
Well, that's something.
That was incredible. I got paired up against somebody who actually flew over to come and play. And he wrecked me. Then I got drunk, and it was fun.
Good to know. Now, since we've gone off on a bit of a tangent about the competitive scene, let's talk about the other new army on the scene that may be making an impact on the competitive scene. We don't know yet because we've only seen one battle report with it. That's the Thousand Suns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who beat the Custodes in their very first battle report.
And I am not surprised. I don't really know much about the Thousand Suns other than I hate their leader.
Well, yes, we know that already.
Screw that.
What we do know is that the Thousand Suns are getting access to that
Mutualist Vortex beast.
Yes, that's it.
Yes, it's interesting that they've done that because if we get a Khorne codex of some sort, they should get the Slaughter Brute as a result, because in the recent Balance Pass for Age of Sigmar, I'm not going to dally on Age of Sigmar, although I will be coming back to it later, the Slaughter Brute gained the Khorne keyword and Mutalith gained a Zinch, so it will be interesting to see if we get a World Eaters or Khorne Demonkin codex again. I think they'll get the Slaughter Brute.
I can almost guarantee there's going to be a World Eaters and Emperor's Children codex coming out.
Not anytime soon, though. just because.
No, definitely soon.
I don't
Why
think.
though?
I don't think so because if you look at the Chaos Space Marine Codex, it mentioned every traitor legion except for the Death Guard and Thousand Sons, who are getting their own codexes. So why would the Chaos Space Marine one mention World Eaters and Emperor's Children if they're going to get their own codexes recently?
I mean, I see what you're saying about the Emperor's Children in particular, because if, as rumours believe, it's going to be a Summer of Slanesh, it would make sense for them to get a codex alongside a potential Fulgrim release. It would.
I imagine that being more happening with more of a campaign book rather than the full-on codex.
Yes, it's plausible.
This year, I think Tau Orks and all of the Slanesh is getting updated, but it's Tau and Orks are scheduled for this year.
I think everyone's scheduled for this year. That's
I think at the current rate, everyone will be done probably by at least the end of the year.
Hopefully.
Rates.
I reckon by the summer. I mean, we're getting a new codex, every 2 weeks?
I mean, yeah.
Hopefully not. It's expensive, and I can't afford all of them.
We're getting one every 2 weeks.
Quick.
We're getting... the Custodian one goes on pre-order tomorrow, which will be the Saturday prior to when this came out.
So
Thousand Sons will be 2 weeks after that. Then 2 weeks after that, say if it's like Tau, then Orks, then Necrons.
I get the feeling that there might be a bit of a lull for 40k for a couple of weeks, and I'm going to put that down to the fact that Malign Portents for Age of Sigmar has been built up like crazy, and I think they might go a little bit all in on that for a couple of weeks. I have this funny feeling that Age of Sigmar is going to get a few weeks while Malign Portents is on to get a bit of time in the spotlight, which might explain why we don't have a full view for 40k just yet.
Michael, nobody plays Age of Sigmar. I'm just kidding, obviously.
Yes, you're definitely kidding.
That's how you get a bit aggressive.
Sorry. Age of Sigmar gets so much shit, I'm just kind of done with it at this point. So yes, we'll see what happens with 40k's release schedule, because at some point, either if they want to have a release schedule that runs to the end of the year, because they want to have a big special codex release at Christmas, because why wouldn't they, unless it's a campaign book, it makes sense. They need to break the cycle of releases up a little bit, and the best way to do that is probably AOS or 30k, but then again, that's Forge World's thing, so maybe not.
Speaking of 30k, when the hell are we going to get the next Primarch? Considering we're still waiting on Dawn, we're still waiting on Farius. Come on, get off your fucking asses and make the models for them. Jesus.
Well, when's the next Forge World Open Day?
No idea.
When there's Adepticon.
Well,
there's gonna be some announcements at Adepticon. There's always announcements at Adepticon.
Yeah, because the Adepticon was around the same time as the Horus Heresy Weekender, wasn't it, last year? They were around the same time. Because the Adepticon was when the 8th edition rules were first hinted at, and the Horus Heresy Weekender was when we got the first look at Book 7, and around that time was also when we got Gilliman. That was March-ish?
By the way, for everybody going to Adepticon, I will be there. We can hug. Or play games. And I'm not sure about last Adepticon. No, wait, it was March.
Yeah, because I remember making a video about the proposed rules changes at Adepticon, because that's when they were first introduced.
Well, I mean, Adepticon always previews stuff 7 months in advance.
Valid.
That's kind of their thing.
Fair. Oh, actually, that makes me think. Did the tournament you go to use the new beta rules?
Yes, the beta rules were used.
Did they make a difference, do you think? Did you have to try and remember to use them or think about them, or did they not come up much?
I pretty much negated everybody's psychic phase. So, yeah, they kind of came up.
And the character thing?
The character thing definitely did come up. Unfortunately, Celestine was sniped when a Canoness was in front of her, and I was really annoyed by that.
And here I thought she was functionally immortal.
Oh, no, because then once she died, her entire unit, I used Mortarum, and then when she came back, I flew her across the table right into combat right at the end of their phase when they couldn't do anything. So yeah, she's still pretty much crazy. In fact, she's probably crazier now.
Right.
In fact, every single Imperial army is using her.
That's good to know.
Are they using it with Guilliman as well?
Yep. I mean,
of course.
If you have an Imperial army, all right. So you start out with your Shadow Sword, then you add in Guilliman, then you add in Celestine. All right, then you build the rest of your army, which is mortars and bodies.
And then you wash that down with Nurgle's rot-infused Amasec, because that is the most boring cookie-cutter bollocks I've ever heard.
Oh, no. Just pure guard is... Like, go watch my latest battle report for this. It is... You get to see all the cheeseball tactics of 8th edition.
Yes, and it sounds like bollocks, and I want nothing to do with it, which is why I don't play competitively.
You should watch it, though. It's really funny.
Doesn't sound it, personally, but okay.
I love it. It's putting a tank straight up in the air was really amusing.
Sure it was. And since we'll wrap this up, the Demons.
Oh yeah, I got their codex too. I have yet to look at it. I know Slaanesh is really powerful in it, and Khorne is basically kind of the same.
Well, it also confirmed. Well, it does in fact confirm the origin of the Order of the Chaos Gods. You know, first among them was Khorne. I was like, thank you. They put it in paper for the first time in God knows how long.
Yeah, it goes Khorne, Nurgle, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, right?
No, Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, Slaanesh.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, I knew Tzeentch was second.
Tzeentch is the most powerful momentarily, except for that instance where Slaanesh was the most powerful, and that instance where Khorne was the most powerful, and Nurgle was the most powerful.
It's called The Great Game.
Yeah, I know, it's really funny.
Which, thanks to Talon of Horus, we now know the Emperor's a part of.
The Emperor plays The Great Game. I'm not shocked, but good to see it confirmed, I guess.
Yep, because the demon Imperius, you know, the Emperor's demon, says that he sings his song into the Great Game.
Yep.
Oh, yay. I actually get validation that the Emperor's probably a Chaos God of some sort. Dang.
I wouldn't say Chaos God. It's more of like an Eldar God than anything else, but yeah.
How is he an Eldari God when he's human?
That makes absolutely
because he's
no
not
sense.
warp-based. He's more material-based than anything else.
Yeah, but...
At least he's not a fart cloud like the Satan.
I raise you Iliad, who is neither material nor warp-based.
Yeah, but that's death, and the Eldar gods don't make sense.
He's not death, he's the god of the dead. Difference.
Tiny difference.
Minor.
I mean, looking at Greek gods, you know, for comparison, Hades is the god of the dead, but Thanatos is the god of death.
Yeah.
Or you can compare Anubis and Osiris. Lord of Death versus God of Death. And their differences, their minor differences.
Yeah, one's a jackal, one's green.
And then
one guides the souls to the afterlife, and yeah, the other one
feeds
is what you go to. Yeah, pretty much.
He feeds it to his dog that's part hippo, part lion, part crocodile.
Egyptian mythology is amazing.
All mythology is pretty damn cool if you look at it in the right way. But anyway, that's kind of abstract. So Slaanesh is bonkers, Khorne is as it was. I was expecting Tzeentch to be more bonkers.
Tzeentch is definitely really good. It's just Slaanesh has an ability where they can just turn off a character for a turn.
Actually, that's interesting. Is that the minus attack thing?
No, it's literally none of your aura abilities work. You can't move or shoot or attack.
And here I thought Slaanesh would be trying to turn on a character. Huh?
Oh, shove off and fall into a war portal.
Come on, someone had to say it.
Me.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, they did. Anywho, but yeah, the Demon Codex is looking pretty powerful. What I want to do is I want to start building up my Slaanesh army. I've really got nothing for it except for 3 bikers, some seekers, and 15. What are they called in 40K? I know they're called like the cacophony.
Noise Marines.
Yeah, they're just called Noise Marines in 40K. Forgot they're boring in 40K.
Well, it's because they're not necessarily all Emperor's children. They could be drawn from other traitor legions who just fell to Slanesh.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, you got Khorne Berserkers coming from other legions as well.
Or
Yes,
Khorne
and-
Berserkers joining the Black Legion.
Everyone joins
Yes.
the Black Legion now.
Yeah. definitely.
Abaddon's like, join the Black Legion. We have cookies. Death to the false Emperor.
I still love that he's kind of a total bro.
As long as you don't cross him.
Or fail him.
Yo, Kion,
Or-
they took your girl. Yo, let's go on a crusade and destroy the Dark Eldar to get her back.
Yeah, but there was also that bit where it's like, damn it, Kaon, you have failed me for the last time again. Where, he fails to kill Devorak, and Abaddon's like, we haven't sparred for a while. Punch him in the face repeatedly. Don't fuck up again.
Yeah, this was the time where Abaddon didn't quite have the same spare lieutenants to call upon.
No.
Actually, I'm going to say, Abaddon, the one I always remember with Abaddon is his interaction with, what's his name? Crimson Slaughter dude. What's his face?
Sevastus Cranon?
Cranon. That's it. Thank you. Couldn't remember his name for a minute there. Because Cranon comes in bold as brass and pretty much does not bow to Abaddon. And Abaddon's like, I like you. I'm going to back you. Go and fuck some shit up before the 13th Black Crusade.
Isn't that basically what happened with Huron Blackheart? It's like, you know what? I can't stand you, but you're doing a good job. Have a Blackstone Fortress.
Cranon hadn't even proved him. Oh, I think, actually, if I remember it rightly, Bile came to the Crimson Slaughter and basically said, you are coming to see Abaddon now, if I remember it right. Which is just a little bit odd, but there you go.
Hmm.
I'd have to go back and read the old Crimson Slaughter Codex to verify that that's correct. But I know Bile was involved, and I know Abaddon got involved afterwards. And I don't think it was against him.
Bile is crazy, and I love him.
Everyone loves Bile.
Yeah, speaking of Bile, do we want to discuss Bile Primogenitor here? Because there was something came up that I know you were quite interested about.
Did you mean Clone Lord? The new book.
Spoilers, Alexis.
Who cares about the spoilers? Read the damn book. There's an adorable baby Fulgrim in it.
There's also a baby Fulgrim in the Lucius novel, and Lucius kills it. But that's a different baby Fulgrim, no.
How many freaking clones? Well, actually, he had
This is Bile.
thousands.
He made about 15 Ferrus Manus clones.
Oh yeah, and for anybody saying you can't improve upon the Emperor's work, I raise you a Fabius Bile who cloned the Primarchs and made them better.
I also raised you Corvus Corax and Belisarius Gaul, but there you go.
Well, I think Call just kind of innovated the work. He didn't really...
Yeah, but
He kind of just...
Well, what would you call innovating on something that already exists? It's an improvement.
Well, think of
Yeah,
it this
that's true
way.
enough.
Think of it this way. Bile managed to get Gene Seed to work in women.
Yeah.
And that's true. It's in the novel Primogenitor with the Gland Hounds. Granted, it's a modified version of the Gene Seed, but it's still Gene Seed nonetheless.
Yep, it counts.
Now
We don't have
let's
to
make
see
an
if they
entire
wrote that.
legion of them. And
The funny
no,
thing
just kidding.
is, the
They're
Gland
really
Hounds
shouldn't.
could piss acid. That was funny.
That, God, that's weird.
Well, in all fairness, so can Space Marines.
I know they can
They
spit.
can
I
spit acid.
didn't know they could piss it though.
They more than likely can piss acid. I mean, look, take a step back from 40K for just a second. It is literally 80s death metal. That's all it is.
Maybe in Rogue Trader, if James Workshop were willing to play that fast and loose, they might have got away with slipping that in as an inside joke.
No, it's literally, here's a Space Marine. He could bite the treads off of your tank, chew it up, spit it out in your face, and burn your entire face. He can then rip your head off, eat your brain, and learn all of your knowledge before continuing.
Or while Deicide is
That's
playing in the background.
metal. Yeah, that's metal. I don't care how you try to justify it, that's metal.
I agree. I completely agree. I'm just saying the Games Workshop might have been a bit more diplomatic about some of the... How do I put this?
Tasteless
Intimate
aspects.
things.
In fairness,
The intimate bits.
if there's any chapter that's going to be going around actually pissing acid on people, the only chapter I can imagine doing that is the Marines Malevolent, because they're a bunch of cunts.
Or the Emperor's Children.
Let's just move on from this point, because we're probably just giving a certain somebody too much material.
Hi, Eddie.
I love that guy. Anyway.
Yes. There's not much to report on the news front, unfortunately. I mean, the Custodes have their thing, obviously.
Custodians sure are neat. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. There's a part of me that kind of doesn't want them back. I know it's a bit late to really say that because they've been back for yonks, but part of me was kind of, I quite liked the mystique of the Custodes, even if it made no sense that they were all stuck on Terra doing fuck all. I kind of like their mystique, and now they're just going to go out and, yeah, they're going to kick ass and take names. And the only upside I can really see to that is we get to learn about them, so I'm down. But part of me just kind of thinks they're going to lose that a little bit of mystique by doing that.
I mean, hopefully they explain how they're made.
Oh, yes, I hope so.
And the Sisters of Silence and why they're 7 foot tall.
Wait for their codex.
Oh, and I'm going to say this again because it's going to trigger somebody. Terminator armor is an exosuit that can be worn by anybody.
Yes, Inquisitors proved that point.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's human Terminator armor. No, Inquisitor Sabathiel literally gets into Aegis armor. Sorry.
But going back to Custodians, I always imagine when they'd be marching on the battlefield, like, if they had a theme song, it would be the glorious song that's Bobby Roode's entrance music.
Yeah, just maybe with maybe instead of like heavy metal guitar, it would be a bit, I don't know, it'd be a bit more gothic choral than that.
No, it'd be the very Queen-esque guitar. I want someone to go to a tournament with a Custodian army, and whenever they take their turn, they just play Glorious on huge boombox.
Only when they disembark from the Land Raider.
Or arrive by teleportation.
Or charge into
combat.
Or do anything.
That doesn't quite have the same effect as a walkout entrance, though.
Yeah. Whenever they move, Glorious.
God, I daren't push the point because I know you probably got one in mind for everybody's army at this point. I daren't push the point.
Well, obviously,
Remlays.
obviously the World Eaters would be coming out to World Eater by Bolt Thrower.
Yeah, they would.
Just like how the Death Guard would come out to Plague Bearer by Bolt Thrower.
I can see the Necrons using the Undertaker's theme, if I'm honest.
Nah, that'd be coming out to Daft Punk.
What? Why Daft Punk?
Think about it, Alexis.
No,
I am thinking about it.
I prefer my opinion on this one.
Anyway.
Glorious.
God damn it.
Oh, he's gone now. Ah, dearie me. I was going to say something and now I've completely forgotten. Oops.
I'm sure it would have been glorious.
Probably not.
Are you okay, Remlays?
He's fine.
I'm glorious.
God damn it, Remlay.
Knock it off.
He's gonna say glorious again, you know that, right?
I'm aware of that. It's going to be the most inopportune moment and it's just going to freak the pair of us out. I know it.
So, what do you guys got for rants? I already did mine.
I've been kind of away from... I've been getting back into the whole uni thing and painting my Stormcast like crazy, so I've not particularly been in a rant-worthy mood. And I haven't really come across something super intriguing in my lore research, although I did learn a bit more about certain chapters, which was intriguing. I've learned some stuff.
Nice.
I just want this fucking illness to fuck right off. Because I'm still suffering. Even after all these fucking weeks.
Well, it just shows that you're slowly falling to Slaanesh. Suffering is good. Builds character.
I feel like that's a quote from somewhere.
I kind of think it is, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Something tells me it's a
Speaking
quote.
of quotes, one thing I keep seeing that kind of annoys me is possibly the most misquoted line in all of 40k lore. So how many times have you guys gone onto like a 40k Facebook page, whatever, and seen someone mention, I was there the day Horus killed the Emperor? I'm sure you've seen that come at some point.
Yes.
That's not the line. The line is, I was there the day Horus slew the Emperor, not I was there when Horus killed the Emperor.
Oh, that's nitpicky as fuck.
It's still misquoted. It's literally the first line of Horus Rising, the very first line in the book.
I thought it was the last line of the first chapter.
No, it's the first line in the first book.
Right. Yeah, and to be fair, that is because that line only works because of the way the Horus Heresy was set up. Like, if you just grab the book off the shelf and you don't know what 40k is, you just grab a book out of, let's say, a random jumble sale and you read that, that's going to mean nothing to you. That line only works because it was written after 40k determined what the heresy did. That's just an interesting thing. That line has such implications and import, even though because we know it sounds like, oh, this person was at the Battle of Terra. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But it means something else, and we find out that later. That means nothing to people who aren't people who know 40k's lore. It's just intriguing when you think about it. I don't know, or is it just me?
Probably you.
Yeah, it's just me. Of course it was.
Anyway, is it time for the questions?
Anyway. Yeah, let's jump right into questions.
It can be.
Oh,
yeah.
Glorious.
God damn it, Remlice.
Knew that was coming. Have we got any particularly upvoted? I've got
Actually,
here.
One of the things that I really want to do is I want to get you and Vicky into the same room together, just so the amount of lore could just explode.
How does lore explode?
Look at the Thousand Suns. That's how lore explodes. They have a Satan book.
They just disintegrated.
Knowledge is power. Guard it well.
But yeah.
Anyway.
How about Magnus when he ended up fighting Satan? That was hilarious.
I can't get over that.
Also,
Magnus fought Satan.
Also, on a slightly related note, I actually emailed Graham McNeil, the author, to ask.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
I asked him, is this actually a warp entity? Because it's made from souls, but it's bound in a physical location. Is it a warp entity? Yes, it is. There we go.
Oh, that actually reminds me. Can you remind me to make a call on the 23rd?
Yeah, make a call on the 23rd.
Well, later, of course.
Okay, but I don't know why you're doing that live on air, but okay.
It is a joke.
Oh.
It's the third. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to questions. What do we got?
Okay, here we go. You've talked before about demon princes being a shard of their respective gods and not really having free will. Have we talked about the podcast, or have we just mentioned that separately?
I think we've mentioned it once.
We've mentioned. I think I've mentioned about them being parts of their gods. So how does a demon prince of chaos undivided function? Is the effective question. Because actually, that brings us. Did I see somewhere something to do with a Reddit thing by ADB about demon princes of chaos undivided not being a thing, or did I get that wrong? Or someone told me that about ADB's AMA on Reddit having something to do with a demon prince of chaos undivided, or am I?
Wait, I mean, Be'lakor is a demon prince of chaos undivided.
I know. I know. It's just someone pointed me to something that ADB said in an AMA on Reddit. See if I can find it, because I don't know why they brought it up. Never mind, it's not worth looking. But it was something they mentioned about, like, something to do with Demon Prince of Chaos Undivided, and like what? Whatever. I just don't know if you'd seen his AMA and had looked at it.
We know there are other demons of Chaos Undivided, like, the Furies being a main example, being the most common.
Yes.
So either they somehow just get manipulated by all the Chaos gods, because like with Be'lakor, everyone takes in turns to basically puppet him around. and that's actually canon. Or,
Yeah, I know.
or alternatively, there might be something like a God of Chaos Undivided that's still slumbering, which is very unlikely, but still interesting to think of. Considering in fantasy there actually was the concept of a Chaos God of Undivided, just known as the Beast or something.
Well, I think I know the Furies are sort of formed out of like fragmented something or others. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but they're not like formed from raw emotions the same way that the gods and thus demons are. They're sort of made in a very different way rather than being made by a chaos god. They're sort of something that by the logic of the warp, which is very little, they shouldn't really exist, but they do. Something like that. I feel like. I don't know. Hang on.
Okay. What do we got for the next question?
Right, what have we got? In the Blood Angels Codex, a Tau colonization fleet has started to operate near Baal. What do you guys think of this? Will the fleet survive, and if so, how will it diverge from the Empire and the Enclaves?
That was the Force Sphere expansion, wasn't it?
As far as I was aware, yes.
Considering Baal's halfway across the fucking galaxy. I think... Well, if the expansion fleet has got ethereals with them, they'll probably operate the same way as regular Tau expansion fleets.
Assuming that their big dump in the warp didn't mess them up in some way.
Yeah, exactly. Because what we know...
Or Tyranids don't move in and eat them.
The Tyranids around Baal are gone.
Yeah, saying Tyranids are gone is...
Commander
They'll be back.
Commander ate them.
They'll be back.
But what we know with, like, the second... Was it the second sphere of expansion? The one that Farsight was in charge of? They actually had...
Puretide led... Go on.
They had Tau from all castes with them. So they had, the earth, fire, water, and air caste, as well as a few ethereals in stasis. So
yes,
if it's like that, they'll just operate the same way they normally do. They'll dispatch the water caste to some populated planets going, "Hello there, would you like to join the Tauva?"
Yeah,
like,
the second sphere expansion...
Boom.
Yeah, the second sphere expansion officially was Puretides, and Farsight got made a hero for either just before or just... Oh god, I can't remember Farsight's bloody lore right now. But Puretide was the main one responsible for the second sphere of expansion. And Farsight was sort of tacked on the end of it, in between the second and the third.
Yeah, because Shadowsun was the third.
Yeah, Shadowsun was the third, Puretide was the second, and the Farsight expedition probably would have been the third if it hadn't gone to hell.
Thanks, Star Wars chapter.
Well, thanks Aunvar for being a shitlord, but...
Yeah, but no one likes Aunvar.
Yeah, which is why I'm glad he's fucking dead. I want to know who the next Ethereal Supreme is, but I'm just glad Aunvar is dead.
It's going to be Aunshi. It's going to be Aunshi.
Ouchie?
Yeah, his name's Aunshi.
This is like, if it is Aunshi, that is going to be such an interesting dynamic, because Aunshi is like it's his fighting style that Farsight copied for his own fighting style in his battle suit, and he's allowed in the enclaves. I mean, was it you mentioned something about Farsight and Aunshi in a comment somewhere?
Yeah, someone in my comment section suggested that Aunshi is Farsight's bastard dad.
I'm going to humour that for as long as it takes me to say intercaste breeding is forbidden, so why the hell would an Ethereal do that? And I'll stop there, because otherwise there's just... Yeah, I'll be here all day.
It was a forbidden love.
But yes, because Aunshi is accepted by the Enclaves, him becoming Ethereal Supreme might see a reconciliation of the Farsight Enclaves, and that's why I want to know what the hell they're doing, Ari Ethereal Supreme. But that's just me. Right. Considering that Renegade Knights are not yet in a codex, the Chaos Hellrights profile in the Forge World Chaos Index has the Dark Mechanicus faction keyword and has an ability that says it can heal the Dark Mechanicus vehicle. Do you think these are signs of a Dark Mechanicus codex at some point in the future?
Oh my god, I hope so.
Yeah, that would be very cool.
I mean, if every other faction's getting a codex, why not the Dark Mechanicus?
Like, think about all the cool stuff you can include in it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you could just make things up and put it in and it would be perfect.
So
The only challenge potentially with the Dark Mechanicus Codex is if you just stick all the demon, it'll be demon engines and the heretics and renegade knights more than likely. It's just how much can you put in there without infringing on the Chaos Space Marines territory, because they use demon engines as well. The actual Mechanicus Codex doesn't intrude on the Space Marine Codex or the Guard Codex much, if at all. And they'd have to be careful that the Dark Mechanicus didn't just do that by taking the best mechanical bits of Chaos Marines. Just be a bit of an interesting balance.
Add a bunch of new unique vehicles. There you go, problem solved.
True. Excuse me. Okay, how many chapters, not legions, chapters, do you think there were in the Great Crusade? Do you think?
Oh god. Well, considering a chapter is 1,000 Marines and the Ultramarines themselves had 160,000.
Yeah, the average for a legion sort of came in around 100,000. So by that logic, it's 100 times 18, which is about rounding up. Let's call it 2,000.
A bit more than 2,000, isn't it?
18 times 100. It's 100,000 a starter. Is divided by 1,000 is 100 chapters per legion. Times by 18 is 1,800. Round up to 2,000.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
2,000 chapters of Space Marines.
Yeah, there's a second half of the question that goes on to say, did they have designations or names separate from that of their legion? And the answer is yes, they did. An example would be the Ashen Claws, who were a chapter of Raven Guard, who then went Renegade. Not Chaos, Renegade.
Then there was the Death Eagles chapter in the Emperor's Children, who also became a Loyalist chapter later on.
Yep. I can't remember if the Thousand Sons 9... Oh, they were Brotherhoods rather than being actual chapters. They were slightly different again. But the thing is, we can't just say that about chapters. I don't think every legion had chapters, because obviously the Space Wolves had their great companies, but they will have been different.
I think they had chapters. They probably just used different terminologies for them.
True,
but the same
when
basic function remained.
Yeah, because when I think about the Thousand Sons, they had 9 things. I think fellowships. That's the word I'm looking for. Fellowships, and they sort of functioned kind of like chapters, I guess. But they were obviously much, much larger because the Thousand Sons were at one point quite large. Not on the scale of any like the Ultramarines or the Sons of Horus, but not 9,000.
And at one point, they were quite small.
Yeah, not quite Emperor's Children, but yeah.
Yeah, they had more than the Emperor's Children. They only had about, 200 Marines at one point?
I think it was about 200, yeah.
And the Thousand Sons, they had about 1,000 at one point.
Yeah, the amount of time, every time it went bad for the Thousand Sons, they went down to 1,000, pretty much.
That's what you call irony.
Yeah, and speaking of the Thousand Sons, there's a quick question here. How did the Thousand Sons replace dead Rubric Marines? As far as I was aware, they didn't.
I'm pretty sure I did a video on that a while ago anyway.
Yeah, you did, but yeah, that is an interesting question. They just kind of explode and die.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone's going to...
The Space Wolf novels by Bill King, it showed that Thousand Sons sorcerers would pull the souls of the Rubric out of the warp and implant them into dead bodies.
I was going to say, they weren't going to go casting another Rubric because, like, on a random dead Space Marine to make them into a Rubric Marine, that's not going to work.
No. Yeah, they
That's an interesting one.
They pulled the souls out of the warp, implanted them into either dead Rubric Marines or even just dead corpses of Space Wolves, and then they went berserk and started attacking the Space Wolves, thinking it was the battle for Prospero all over again.
Is that really recruitment, though?
It's replenishing their numbers.
Yeah, I guess.
They lost the soul of a battle brother, they just pull it back out the wall and stick it in a new body.
Or they just do it in rain, because, like, whenever I think of Ivrain in that battle with Armin, I just think of her doing a Doctor Strange moment, or just sort of like twisting her hand, like rewinding the clock on the Thousand Suns. I find that such a weird mental image. It's like,
I just imagine her doing Sailor Moon quotes, like, "In the name of Beeltan, I will punish you."
Oh my god.
oh dear.
She is Sailor Moon, like, come on.
She is.
She's a plot device, is what she is. I think I've said it before. I just feel like I've said it before. Because Cole and all the stuff he's done over the past few millennia aren't very well documented, if at all documented. Cole and the Rangers feel like plot devices to get Gilliman back, and that sucks.
Yeah, but the thing is, Cole actually had some more, development than Ivrain has. Which makes Cole a bit more of a more well-rounded character.
Only slightly, but...
Whereas Ivrain is just like, there. I mean, don't get me wrong, she was good in Ghost Warrior, she was interesting in there, but that's like pretty much the only book we have.
I think called the Hand. Is it Hand of? There's one about the Hand of Midnight. I don't know if it's that one that you're referring to. But there's one she steals the Hand of Midnight off Mortarion.
Yeah, that one as well. Yeah.
Which is that is such a crazy what she does. I haven't listened to it or heard or read it in full, but she goes to the Black Library, faces off with Slaanesh itself and resists temptation, in order to get a rose of Isha that's randomly in the Black Library, so apparently Isha was a bit of a bookworm, to go to the Garden of Nurgle, through the Garden of Nurgle, and through it to Mortarion's tower on the Plague Planet and steal the Hand of Midnight. Like, what the bloody hell, Ivrain?
I don't think it was called the Hand of Midnight.
Yeah, I was going to say...
Hand of Dark? I don't know.
Hand of Darkness.
Yeah, sorry, I might have got the name wrong there, sorry.
Because
Abaddon
has the Hand of Midnight.
She also had a full battle company with her. She did fall to temptation momentarily when she got into the realm of Slaanesh. She never faced off against Slaanesh herself. She faced off against a bunch of birds that were...
It came across like resist... Oh, sorry, go
on. These birds were seeping doubt into all the Eldar, and they turned against each other before the cat finally killed one of the birds, and everybody's just like, oh, murder those things.
Yeah, because it came across like Ivrain resisted the temptation of Slaanesh, is how it came across in order to get that rose. I don't know quite how it worked, because I haven't.
No, she kind of just walked in and took it.
Do you know what's also funny? Ivrain faced off against Cain. Not an avatar, against Cain.
That makes absolutely no sense given what we know about Cain.
Apparently the avatars are the fragments of his body, but this was his essence.
Neat.
Right.
And Cain's essence is within the tomb of Eldanesh.
That makes 100% sense if Eldar mythology is true. That makes sense.
And they found his body. So it is true. Eldanesh was real. They find his crystallized heart.
And that means that the really bad version of the War in Heaven is the truth, where... Yeah, there's two versions of that story involving Eldanesh and Cain. I can't remember which it was. Never mind. Right, have we got any... would you guys want a book from the Tyranids' point of view?
Well, we have called the War Mason, which is from the Genestealer cult's point of view. Well,
the closest we'll ever get to a Tyranid point of view book is the Dawn of War 2 campaign, and Genestealer cult.
Well, we get a few segments from the Hive Mind's overarching point of view in Devastation of Baal as well. There's little bits that seem to reflect the way the Hive Mind sees things, as opposed to... It's not like actually the Hive Mind's opinion, so to speak, but it is a look
Is it kind of like scrumptious, tasty, delicious?
It's complicated AF.
Did you really just say AF? Anyway.
Oh, look, I found a question that's just about to become my rant for the week. Perfect.
Glorious.
Do you Do you think the Games Workshop could do an Age of Sigmar style event in 40k where races and main characters are killed off and the universe is massively shaken up and not completely screw it up?
I mean, they blew up Cadia.
Right. One, they already did. Yes, it's called the Gathering Storm. Look what happened to the galaxy. And there's, admittedly, the death count in Gathering Storm isn't crazy, but it's still a death count. And on top of that, Age of Sigmar was not a screw-up. It was a slightly iffy execution that took a long time to fix, but it wasn't a complete screw-up. It's a good game with improving lore and amazing models. Shabbat.
And it's more financially successful.
And probably that. I haven't seen the numbers, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Considering that ever since they did get Age of Sigmar, Games Workshop stock's been, rising, I'd say it's a success.
Yes, it's been a massive success. I mean, it needs more lore, but we're getting that now with more importance. It's just, yeah, whatever. It's just a quick mini rant of, like, stop calling Age of Sigmar a screw-up. It's not. Right. We answered that already about the Sisters of Silence not being in the Custodes codex. Okay, question for Alexis. Coming back to Sisters of Silence then. Do you think they'll get better stats to represent their strength in the lore, or will their stats stay the same?
Game purposes wise, if you gave them better stats, they would just be Space Marines. I kind of like them having the Strength 5 sword, the flamethrowers, and the bolters. Although, if they do want to add more to them, they can actually do named characters. They could do jump infantry to complement the bikes, or bike infantry. Bike infantry. You know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
They could actually bring in some of the more specialist Sisters of Silence that you see in the Rogue Trader era things. There's a lot that they can add to them. I don't think buffing their stats will do that much, though, because there are better close combat armies. It's really their strength and toughness of 3, though it does sort of reflect what they are in the lore. They aren't as strong as the Astartes. They are as big. They're much faster. I think that should be more played up. Is they should have a rule similar to Slaanesh where they strike first. And an invo save to represent their swiftness.
That would definitely be an interesting way to do them. And I'm interested to see how. I know obviously they have to translate their anti-psyker abilities across, but when you get an army-wide anti-psyker army, there should be some really nasty nonsense in the way in there.
All friendly units within 2 inches are immune to psychic powers.
No, I like the nullification, like your opponent can't cast. Or your opponent is severely docked for trying to cast.
Yeah, what was I gonna... Sisters of Silence, like, do they have any anti-demon abilities? Like, abilities that affect demons?
Yeah, them.
No.
Yeah, them.
Oh yeah, I know that, as in, do their rules do that? Is what I meant. I know they do, but do their rules reflect that? Do they have an ability about demons near them suffer this?
Alexis.
No, I can't think of anything. I mean, I know in the Emperor's Legion book, they just think really hard, and they make people sick. So,
speaking of that book, do you reckon when Sisters of Silence get a codex, they'll have their fire and ice powers?
That wasn't their powers. That was from their suit. That's literally an upgrade in Dark Heresy.
I know, but it's not made clear, though. Let's be honest. Though that being said,
it's clear for me.
Though that being said, there was a passage where the main Sister of Silence in that did channel her anti-psychic abilities to use as an attack, as like a wave attack.
Yep.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, Psi Titans do sort of do that as well.
So it counts as fire powers.
It's not fire powers.
They shoot anti-psychic fire.
They...
Yeah, the anti-psyker weapons being powered by blanks, like Psi Titans creep. Like, I love Psi Titans, but they creep me the fuck out.
Well, think of it as more powered by willpower than actual psychic powers.
So they're Green Lanterns.
Or Orks.
Well, it's powered by blanks rather than psychic powers, so it's got to be something other than that. But yes.
Details.
Also, I had a really weird idea. Imagine if there was like a, there's a whole bunch of 40k comics rolling around.
Yep.
Mhm.
I just had this mental image of a 40k manga done by Junji Ito. You know, the guy that does those really fucked up horror mangas. Basically, if you know of the the Enigma of Arigama Fault. Basically, the one with the cave all shaped like people, and everyone gets drawn into those holes shaped like people, and it's really fucked up.
Okay, we're done that.
I'm okay with this. That sounds like a nice home. Like, I might make that a vacation destination.
Dear God. Right. Would it be possible to have a realm of souls separate from the Great Immaterium? If you were to redirect enough souls to a particular location, could that begin to break down into a private warp? Does souls automatically go to the Immaterium asking for world building things?
Isn't that basically what the Infinity Circuit is?
Well, I mean, pocket dimensions do exist within the warp. It is very well possible that one of these pocket dimensions is the realm of souls.
If you look at the Infinity Circuit, though, it's got the souls of like literally millions of Eldari, and enough for a fucking god to be born within it.
Yeah, the Infinity Circuit is definitely a thing. Although I don't know if it's because the last part of the question sort of says, do souls automatically go to the Immaterium? And the answer to that is yes, because even with the Eldari, either they store them in advance in Spirit Stones in the Infinity Circuit, or Chegarak has to gamble in the case of the Harlequins to keep them away from Slanesh. So, yeah, interesting. We've discussed about Lion and Gilliman before. Do you think we're going to get a book with a demon Primarch as a protagonist?
Didn't we already have Wrath of Magnus?
Yeah, but he was the antagonist, though, not the protagonist.
I mean, we have Gilliman.
He's not a
It's
demon.
about as close as we'll get.
Yeah, but are we going to see the Plague Wars from Mortarian's perspective, for example?
I mean, we
Is
saw
Gilliman a
that.
perpetual now?
No, actually,
Well, he was resurrected from
that's
death.
the point.
That's
Yeah,
usually how
he might
perpetuals...
be actually. Yeah.
Like, that's literally how perpetuals are described. They die, they come back to life. That's all that they need to do.
If we're talking about Gilliman, I'd raise the fact that we had the emissary of the god of the dead right there to resurrect him. It wasn't he resurrected himself, if we're talking about Gilliman.
But
Although he was fighting naked for a while.
Bear in mind with perpetual, there's two ways to make a perpetual. One is to be born a perpetual, and the other one is to die, then be resurrected artificially, and that turns you into a perpetual.
And I mean, his suit is technically a life support thing that he can remove.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's allowed to take his...
He healed from the... He didn't need to use the life support thing for any more than a century, because he can take it off now, obviously. So
yeah, when he was sitting in his robes in his office when he was called Euphrain. That's a thing, by the way.
Well, yeah, Gav said it was canon last time he was on, so...
No. I mean him sitting in a robe in his office, on Terra, making a call to Euphrain.
So
that's in Hand of Darkness.
It's like, hey, babe, can you pick up some milk on the way back? Thanks.
Actually, it was, who was it? Eldred that picked up.
Yeah.
So he just, like, sent out a psychic wave to him, just like, hey, Eldred, yo, is my girl there? And he's just like, oh, what? I don't want to deal with this right now. Like, dude, I don't need to know what you two do. Yeah, I'm going to be rocking that booty tonight. Oh, my God, I don't need to think about this. Oh, God, I saw the future.
On an unrelated note, the Imperial Palace does have a communion room to Crawford Ulthway. Because thanks to the Treaty of Isha.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that's what it's called, but I think I know what you mean.
The Coven of Isha, sorry.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Yes, the peace treaty between the Ordo Xenos and Ulthway, for some reason.
Doesn't stop the Deathwatch fucking Ulthway's shit up a lot. See actually Port Demesnes just before Iniad woke up, where the Deathwatch came in and fucked all the way shit up.
Yeah.
Well, Eldrad, technically.
But the thing is, Ulthway is kind of like basically gone, no, Eldrad, you're grounded, you're not in charge anymore.
Yeah, because I think it was after Coheria and Bieltan, Eldrad got kicked off the Seer Council.
Yeah, he's grounded.
Eldrad, go to your room! No!
Interesting enough, his room's full of junk
Eldrad,
as well.
Eldrad, go to your room and don't touch the phone! Okay.
Doesn't stop him from having phone calls with Eandon, but hey.
Or, being like one of the biggest players in the Yennari.
Minor details.
Who was killed by Abaddon? Then that got retconned.
Abaddon, you can't do successful things. Oh, wait, except for the 13 Black Crusades, where you accomplished almost all of your goals.
The second time the 13th Black Crusade has happened.
Yeah,
No, I mean, in all fairness, he did conquer. Well, he won Battlefleet Gothic.
Yes.
In his own way. He's actually won quite a few of them, and I'm hoping that in the Black Legion series they explain how he and what his goals actually were during those crusades. Because one of the best things about Abaddon is how much of a strategist he is. It may look like you're crushing his force and everything, but he just goes back to the warp and he's just like, yeah, I'll take half my fleet with me. We got this.
He still failed at Pandorax, though.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that he isn't failed.
Well, did he though? Because he got Epimetheus.
He got Epimetheus, but he didn't get the seal open.
Well, not for long, anyway.
No, because it only took what was it? The entire Grey Knights chapter, the entire Dark Angels chapter, and a shit ton of Catachan jungle fighters.
Yeah, just and Feldor Drago.
Yeah, and a Jacaro.
Yeah.
That Jacaro was important. It fixed up a Hellhammer tank that I found in the middle of the jungle. It just fixed it in like 10 minutes.
Oh, I know. I think it was an orc.
Well, they were built by the same people.
I'm still wondering if Tech Priest's experiment with Jacaro is just like putting something that they don't understand in a room with the Jacaro to see if he can figure it out.
The problem is that if they can fix it and use it, that becomes tech heresy.
Oh, speaking of
does it?
Speaking of Jacaro and Orks and that, right? You know that Fabius Boa has not Fabius, but Trazyn has a Krork in his collection.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you know it was armed and armored like an Eldari?
That's awesome.
That's not even surprising.
I am surprised.
So now you've got basically a giant 12-foot tall Eldari Guardian going, what's that? What's this? Rah! Shoo, 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 shoo. Or the Shuriken Catapult.
Does the Shuriken Catapult actually make noise?
Yeah, it goes shoo, shoo, shoo. It's a discount.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, what if it goes full burst?
Shh.
Anyway, next question. What do we got? I know we got something good.
I mostly play Chaos Space Marines, but I've recently come into a bunch of unassembled loyalist scum marines, I'm quoting here. While trying to decide what to do with them, I learned of the Relictors, a renegade chapter still loyal to the Emperor, not the Imperium, but declared heretics for using Chaos artifacts. At least that's how we think it is. They use Chaos power and they impose fewer restrictions on their librarians. They're also apparently operating within the Eye of Terror itself, pre-Rift, according to the Bellicor data slate. Their shtick is supposed to be using Chaos against Chaos, which it is, but apparently they end up fighting the Inquisition and the Grey Knights almost as often as they fight Chaos. What would be the best rule set to depict the Relictors? Could I use Renegade chapters from Chaos Space Marines, or should I use the Loyalist Codex to represent them?
I would actually just stick to Chaos Space Marines.
If you got a whole bunch of Loyalist Marine models, just paint them up as Red Corsairs.
Or Fallen.
No,
I think
Well, they're already painted.
Or
I think that's what the point is.
It doesn't. It says unassembled.
Oh, weird. Yeah, I would
Also-
just use Chaos Space Marines for them.
Yeah, the Relictus are an interesting one because at the current moment we're not 100% sure whose side they're on, because they got their shit kicked out of them by the Grey Knights again, ran off and ended up in the eye. It's about 20% strength, but we don't know as of this moment whether they are corrupted within the eye and thus going to fall to chaos, or whether they're still loyal, just renegades. They're a bit of an interesting case, the Relictors. Also, I could have sworn that in the past, didn't the Relictors like work for the Inquisition a lot? I could have sworn
I'm
that
not 100% on that one.
You're
I
not
thought they're,
confusing them.
like-
You're not confusing with the Red Hunters, are you?
I don't think so. I feel like the Relictors ended up working for the Inquisition as sort of because they owed the Inquisition, which would make sense considering their fuckery with Chaos shenanigans, and they were sent on a 100-year penitent crusade before fucking up again. So I don't know. It's just, I could have sworn that I remember seeing somewhere that the Relictors had to. There was just a moment the Relictors were called in because they owed the Inquisition. I don't know.
We'll have to look into this.
Yeah, I'd have to. Right, let's have a look.
That
You think-
noise. Okay, continue.
Sorry. Do you think the Grey Knights will get Primaris Marines?
No.
Yes. If Primaris librarians exist, why wouldn't they?
Well, are they in the Grey Knight Codex?
Well, no, but
Then
at the
probably
same
not at
time,
this point
the
in time.
codex's models don't represent lore very well. Case in point, you can still play with dead people.
This is a point.
But then you can always
So-
say this battle's taking place at this time, though. It was the same back in Warhammer
Yeah.
Fantasy days, though.
Well, the whole thing is, though, more than if GW wants to make money, yes, they will.
I mean, you could. Part of me said you could argue, oh, Gilliman just doesn't have Grey Knight gene seed to work with, so maybe he can't.
Oh, but don't you know it's the Emperor's gene seed?
Well,
According to the Grey Knight Codex, it actually is, yeah.
it's certainly believed to be.
I hate that, by the way.
Damn you, Matt Ward. I'm not talking about you, Wib. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, doesn't he share the same name?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, poor guy.
Okay, what do we got here? I'm considering converting to make a techno-barbarian army because I find the name to be gloriously stupid and awesome in a good way.
Glorious!
God damn it.
The moment I said that, I knew that was going to happen. What codex or army do you think would feel fluffiest to use as a count-at for techno-barbarians? P.S. Alexis...
Ogrins.
Mechanicus.
P.S. Alexis, tell Viggy I enjoyed his guest appearance.
Oh, okay. I will.
Okay, so Ogrins and Mechanicus.
I really think the Ogrins would actually be perfect for them. And I don't mean because they're big and stupid. I mean because their war gear actually represents them, and they're much bigger than Space Marines.
They're not that much bigger than the Space Marines.
No, but their model-wise is. And I
Wait,
know.
we're talking about
I get the
Ogrins
irony.
or Techno-Barbarians here?
The Techno-Barbarians. Oh, wait, no, I'm thinking Thunder Warriors. My bad.
Yeah, I was going to say. I don't think...
Oh, use the Necromunda models.
What codex, though?
What codex? Imperial Guard.
He's Mechanicus, he's Skitari. Techno-Barbarians,
Yeah,
they're
yes.
bound to be a bunch of cyborgs, aren't they?
Yeah, I would go somewhere between Adeptus Mechanicus and Guard, because I know that some of the warlords of the barbarians will have been massively modified, but I don't know if all of their dudes were that the Thunder Warriors went through.
I still say Guard.
I still say Mechanicus.
We want to fight.
You gotta say it in a fucking Cockney accent, Alexis, or it doesn't work. So, you want to fight? Right? You want to fight? I'm gonna dick you, I swear on me mum. You know, you gotta go like that, you know what I mean?
I could just say it in a New Yorker accent.
Yeah, but it's not as intimidating.
It doesn't quite carry the same gravitas now.
No. I mean, the Cockney football hooligan type, that's something that's feared all across Europe.
Yeah. Yeah. Except maybe in Russia. Dang. Anyway, moving on. Question for me. I'm tempted to start some AOS stuff. I did with the new Magotkin Battle Tome. They say Codex, I say Battle Tome. Do you have any piece of suggestion to share about that? Anything you think about that book? I haven't particularly looked into it. I have actually got permission from Remlins and Alexis to talk about this, by the way. I actually asked.
Yeah, we let him out. We let him out of his cage. We let him talk about this.
I don't know much about the Magotkin book. My friend has got it, and it seems like plague drones have been nerfed. Everything else has been slightly buffed. Whether they're going to be absurd, I don't know. Also, Nurglings gained Scout, or the equivalent to Scout.
Nurglings are insane in 40k. I can only imagine Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, they have 5 wounds each, and they regenerate as in, if you don't wipe a base out, it regenerates to full immediately. So how it works is at the start of your hero phase, or at the start of your turn, effectively, any damaged Nurgling base returns to full wounds.
Well, that's just bullcrap.
But because you can only power wounds onto one base at a time, it stops you just having all of them put to one and then healing them all back up. But it is rather silly and rather annoying. To the point of 6 or 8 Nurgling bases tied up my entire Dark Elf army for 4 turns. It was kind of silly. But anyway, I've said my piece. Magotkin look interesting. I'll probably be playing them when I go home because they'll be my main opponent with my Stormcast. So maybe there'll be a battle report at some point. I don't know. We'll see. Right. Oh god, this is so stupid, I have to say it. If each of you had to do a commercial for joining each of the 4 Chaos Gods, how would those commercials sound?
Mine wouldn't be allowed on the air.
I had a feeling that was going to be the case.
Join Zeeks,
Yeah.
we have infinite knowledge and cookies.
Each doesn't have cookies. You silly bastard.
He has the knowledge to give you any cookie you want.
And also the recipe for 50,000 cookies that will poison you on contact.
Or ascend you to a higher plane of knowledge. Maybe both. Maybe neither. Who knows? Who knows?
Go on. Nothing. What is real?
Is this real life?
Or is this just fantasy?
I knew it! I nearly went there myself.
I actually don't like that song, which is the funny bit.
It's
You
an alright
fucking
song.
heretic.
It's a
Oh, you
decent
want to
song.
go?
So, you want to fight? Right? You don't
No,
fucking
that's-
you don't fucking diss Quinn, right? You don't fucking Freddie Mercury's a fucking legend, right? I'm gonna fucking date you, I swear on me mum. See? That's how it goes.
God damn.
God damn.
I really should have said that. Right. If the mechanic is found in STC for something like the Castigore Titan, is that a thing, or are they misspelling Castigator?
Castigator.
Would they just build it and then find out as an AI after, or try and find out what it is in the first place? Or would they try and decode the schematics before building it, or would they follow it, build it, and then realize they fucked up?
Wouldn't they have to follow the schematics in order to build it anyway?
True, but would they start? Would it be like, okay, right? Let's read the instruction manual. Oh shit, there's an AI in here. Or right, let's get this going. I get to step 10. Oh shit, we just built an AI.
It's like a Lego set, but you just forget that it's an AI after a little bit. Would the AI be smart enough to just say it's a machine spirit? And would the Mechanicum be dumb enough to think that it is?
I could see the Mechanicum being dumb enough.
The
I
AI.
really could.
Oh god, it's the Mechanicum. Beep, boop, I'm a toaster. The Mechanicum. Ah! Checks out.
So, beep beep, I'm a sheep.
To be fair, a Titan's machine spirit it's not an AI, but it's bloody powerful. It could probably be pretty convincing, because a Titan's machine spirit is not to be fucked with.
Doesn't it actually have several?
I think some of the Titan itself has one, but I think some of the weapons have their own.
Yeah. And by one, you mean multiple because it has multiple spirits living inside that one machine spirit. If you think of the princeps for the knights and how they deal with it, because they have to deal with the voices of all the previous pilots. I'm assuming it's something similar to that.
Yeah, I'm not sure, truthfully.
I mean, even in Master of Mankind, I think the girl gets screamed at by the past spirits of the Titan.
Yeah, and in Hell's Reach, Hell's Reach is always the one I come back to. The Titans.
But the question is that part of a machine spirit, or is that just a psychic echo?
Or is that a delusion?
Same thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fair. Oh, I just sent a question on Facebook. Let me see if I can follow this through. So, the Tyranids, they adapt to counter any enemy they encounter. Check. So I've been led to believe that the High Fleet have had to start adapting to fight Chaos Gods and Demons. Check. High Fleet Cronus. Which means they've never encountered a demon before. And seeing as though they come from another galaxy, that must mean the Chaos Gods or the Warp don't exist in the galaxy they came from.
Or the galaxy that they were in didn't have a warp rift.
Or, any way for the warp to breach reality at all. So no one in that galaxy was psychic, or weak-willed, or anything.
Or intelligent.
Why would they need to develop the shadow in the warp to bollocks around with stopping psychic communication if they come from a galaxy where they didn't need it, because they only adapt it if they need it?
Wasn't the shadow in the warp, though, more of just an inadvertent side effect of their passing, rather than actual deliberate creation?
It is a side effect of the constant communication. It's sort of like massive interference. It's a side effect of the hive mind's constant communication, and it just happens to fuck with psychic stuff. But the fact that the Tyranids realized, hey, this fucks with psychic stuff, and look, Dinner uses psychic communication, maybe we should just amp this up a bit.
I just now imagine them all just going, okay, we need to block psychic communication. Just everyone starts shouting, la, 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 to block the communication.
No, you actually listen to the hive mind really quickly. It's somebody posting about female space marines on a Facebook group. Oh god, they won't shut up.
One that came into my mind, and this is a really abstract one, was the Sync from Fallout New Vegas, Soul World Blues. Just like that, that in the DLC, when you go into that building, there's a bunch of personality that you can just shout at each other across the thing. And it's like, right, someone's come in. Let's all talk to that person. And they all start talking, and it's just, oh, fuck, I can't concentrate. That would be a bit silly. But yeah, it's just an interesting train of thought to follow. It's like, why do Tyranids need to learn to counter demons unless they've never encountered demons? Thus, demons didn't exist in that galaxy. Thus,
either that, or the new hive ships that are being created have traveled the length and breadth of the galaxy and just didn't encounter the same threats that their forebearers did, and just basically kept a basic genome set of, okay, this is what you basically need to deal with pretty much anything. Okay, Genestealers, warriors, gaunts, that pretty much get you going. Oh, these things are tougher than we realised. Okay, let's make some zoanthropes, biovores, tyrant guard. I think it's more to do with that more than anything else.
True. Was this? Hang on. Remind me. Zoanthropes. They were created since the Tyranids arrived, right?
Yes, made from Eldar DNA.
I thought so. How have they never consumed a psychic race before?
Or at least one as psychically powerful as the Eldari.
But then they didn't even have lesser psycho beasts apart from the synaptic linchpins before, which is just intriguing that they don't have a... Zoanthropes might be from Eldari, because Eldari are ludicrously psychic, but they must have never consumed a psychically attuned race that was worthy of taking its ability. So no race that can really have encountered in the past can be really any more psychic than humans. But if we're on a psychic level of humans, then they'd have encountered demons, and it's just, it gets a little bit confusing if you try and speculate on the origins of the Tyranids.
Okay, easy enough. I got a way of explaining this.
The warp
GW didn't care. They just wanted cool thingamajigs.
That's probably the real world reason, but it's not an interesting reason, though, Alexis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the joy of our job, is we get to take what the universe was just put together for fun and try and make it make sense. That's part of the fun of the job.
It is fun.
Actually, it was funny. I recreated my content suggestion box in the community tab, and someone's left a comment on it saying, "Please stop making theory videos. I don't see the point in them. They're just stupid." I was like, "What, mate?"
I'm just trying to imagine you being threatening, and it's kind of adorable. It's like when a chihuahua
I wasn't
barks.
being threatening. I was very diplomatic. I was like, I think it's really interesting because you can try and sew the lore together to come to conclusions about things, and I think it's really, really fun, and it serves a purpose." So I was diplomatic because I don't do threatening very well, as your imagination seems to imply.
Turns out he goes full on football hooligan on people. He starts smashing bottles over heads and stuff. And starts screaming, "Blue Army! Blue Army!"
Well,
And then right, Michael.
Right. At least you got the colour right. Because they do actually support Manchester City, so it's a blue team. So, yeah, fair. Anyway, let's see if we can get any more questions before we do anything else. Duncan recently did a video about assembling metal miniatures, uploaded January 12th. Do you think this means metal miniatures are coming back?
Well, I think it's in response to all the metal miniatures that have been sold recently, i.e. tournament players buying sisters.
How to assemble a metal miniature. Use super glue. Job done.
Oh god, no, I hate metal models.
I have like 5 metal hive tyrants, so I kind of I don't mind.
I still have some lead space marines.
The metal models...
I'm pretty sure you're just a relic from the past.
I am a relic from the past. I've been around since like the early days of 2nd edition.
Yeah.
I question you.
I mean, the only metal models I've got, I had an Aemma from Lord of the Rings, which I never managed to get to build. I had Boss Zagstruck and Boss Snickrot. Zagstruck fell apart, and Snickrot I've since converted. I've got a big metal shock attack gun that I could never get to stick together. And I think that's actually it. I think that's all the metal I've got.
Oh, I just remembered. Speaking of models and that, you know how you always see online people complaining that, like, oh, Dante needs a new model, it's really old. Oh, Ragnar Blackmane needs a new model, it's really old. Oh, Abaddon needs a new model, it's really old. How about making a new model full of fucking Wolf Priest and Terminator armor that's a fucking Rogue Trader model? That's still available.
Yeah, he's not a named character, so people don't care as much.
Or the Sisters of Battle.
The fact it's still available after all this time, it hasn't changed apart from getting the 2nd edition Terminator Stormbolter arm.
I'm aware it's bullshit. I'm just saying that people don't give it the same focus because it's not a named character.
Yeah. And besides, if any of the named characters should get a new model, honestly, I think it should be Abaddon who gets it next. I mean, because we've had Khan, we've had Ahriman. Abaddon's supposed to be, the big villain of 40k at this point.
Lucius. I think they might want to complete the 4 before they get
Lucius didn't come until around 4th edition, so his is fine. He can fuck off and wait. We still got a whole bunch of second. We still got a bunch of 2nd edition models that needed upgrading first.
Oh, I agree. It's just.
I mean, the Abaddon model hasn't changed since 1996.
That model is as old as me, but the point I was making
the Rune Priest one hasn't changed since 1991.
The point I was trying to make is just because the way GW usually thinks about this sort of thing, why wouldn't they go Khorne, Nurgle, Tzeentch, Nurgle, Slaanesh, Chaos Undivided? It just seems like a thing they do.
I can tell you that it's because of money.
If you're going to go for the Slaaneshi quote unquote one, then they'll just go what they did for the 2nd edition one. They'll go for Fabius Bile because he's the Emperor's Children guy, which is the Slaanesh Legion.
Except he's not, because he's completely on his own.
I know. I realise that, but he's still part of the Slaanesh Legion, so he needs a new model as well. Because again, 1996, Lucius was what 2005. He can fucking wait another decade. I mean, come on, we've already had 2 fucking Commander Farsight models at this point. And we're still on the first model for fucking Abaddon, and for Bile, and Dante, and Ragnar, and Azrael, and...
Yeah.
I mean, even fucking Calgar got a second model, for fuck's sake.
Although the first model was not invalidated by the second model because it was in different armor.
Yeah. Which makes it even fucking worse.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else.
Apothecary Corbluo, he's still got his model from fucking 1995.
Yeah,
I have that model.
Tycho?
Yeah, Tycho hasn't changed at all.
I'm trying to think if Belial's had one. Samuel's obviously way newer because they wouldn't be able to make one back then.
Jarl Stormcaller got a new model, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, again, same thing as with Calgar. The power armor version, the runic armor version wasn't invalidated because it was a different armor. I'm trying to think about who else has got. Eldrad got a new one in Death Mask.
Yeah, which is now available standalone.
Oh, as is Gilliman, Celestine, and Cole, by the way. They've all gone up, and Cypher, they've all gone up separately now. So
we've had two Cypher models, and Cypher was a fucking 3rd edition model from like 2002.
How many Phoenix Lords? Or are they all newer now? 'Cause I feel like
no, Phoenix Lords are all old. With the exception of the... No, that's not. He's not even a Phoenix Lord. He's just an Exarch. All the Phoenix Lords are from 1994.
Yeah, they're all very, very flat. The only one that I could see being like the one that looks the least old is probably Baharoth. I feel like Baharoth just looks cool enough that it doesn't matter.
Do you know what we should get at some point? A new avatar. A new avatar of Kane.
Yeah, it should be a Genestealer.
No.
Yes.
But yes, the
canon.
avatar. I know it's bloody canon. I'm not saying they should make it the official model for it, though.
All right, fine. Put it in the kit with the official model.
Actually, I also found about... Have you guys heard of the Genestealer Gargant?
No.
There was a Orc Genestealer cult sprung up on a world called Dakar. Don't ask how it did, but it did. And it stuck. And the Vostroyans went in to try and clear it out, only to fall foul of a giant 6-limbed Gargant that, when it died, spewed a massive amount of Genestealers that murdered everything.
See, now you know where the Genestealers were hiding.
It is pants.
You're not wrong.
I know. Hey, at least it didn't all come pouring out of the belly gun. That would have been a bit too on the nose.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Look at all the genes pouring out onto the floor.
Stop. Yeah, I need to find a way to move on. Question for Alexis. If the new Slanesh Locust can affect Chaos Marines with the demon keyword, and if Herald buffs still apply to those same units as stated in the FAQ, does that make Emperor's Children possessed finally worth taking if they have a Herald buffing them?
No. There's so many better options.
You gotta love that. You raised their hopes so efficiently, then dashed them.
I know, Slanesh has taught me well. Anyway.
Seems doesn't.
No, they're meh. They could be good, but they're not. They do get a buttload of attacks, but in all fairness, you should put those points into something else. But I will tell you, Slanesh Demon Princes taken from either codex are amazing right now.
Well, yeah, considering that was your example for all the bullshit Slanesh could do last part.
Just remember, in a tournament, I went up against 5 Demon Princes. 3 of which were Slanesh.
Fun. All right, let's wrap up with just a nice simple one. Should we get the old Orc looted wagon rules back, and should it work for all vehicles?
Yes.
Yes.
And should it work for all vehicles, i.e. you may take any model but with BS2 and you have to make it Orky and stuff?
Yes.
Oh my god, yes.
Why was this not in chapter approved?
I think it actually originally was.
I know it was like that. Why is it not in chapter approved 2017?
It should be.
I mean, if they don't include it for Orks in general, then at least have it available for, like, I don't know, if you're playing as Death Skulls or Blood Axes, to be able to take looted Imperial vehicles.
I can see them actually leaving
Also,
it at... Go on.
They got rid of the Junka. A lot of people miss that, but the Junka is gone.
Interesting. I think I can see the looted wagon not being, or that version of the looted wagon not being in the Orc Codex, for the simple reason of, if you want it to be customizable as shit, then you kind of want it to live in open play where it can't break the game, thus it belongs in chapter approved. But I could see him taking it either way.
Yep.
Okay. No. Oh, okay. I was going to say. But yes, that will conclude the questions for this week. I know I probably didn't find very good ones, but my apologies. But yes, there you go.
Better questions.
Well,
Charming.
Well, to be fair, I don't think I've got them all. I don't know if I've got them all here because I use the comment search function rather than going onto the video and doing it that way. But if I did miss a question or you have something that's come up in this episode or it's a consequence of something we said, please feel free to leave it in the comments below with the word question. Next time Alexis will be reading them, which means that there will be more shenanigans.
Oh, the shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Great.
It's actually a really good place to eat at, by the way.
What?
Do we have those in Britain?
No, I've never even heard of them.
I feel like I've heard of them once, but I've never heard of them in the UK. Or in France, because they don't have like anything in France.
Yeah, the French don't know how to have fun.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
I wouldn't go that far because, I'd probably get in trouble because I know there's at least one person at my GW who watches the channel. Actually, it's funny, I go into that Games Workshop and I speak to the store owner in French, but that one guy, he's like, as soon as I walk in the door, he starts speaking to me in English. I'm like, dude, why? I'm perfectly fine in French, just why do you go in English? Oh, details.
Well, maybe it's more for him than for you. It's like, I can practice English on this guy I know speaks English.
Well, it could be both ways. It could be either way. It's just interesting because a lot of the people at my uni in my year actually are doing English courses, and yet I've never heard a single person trying to, like, every conversation they've ever had with me has been in French. Like, not one of them's actually tried to brush up their English on me, which is interesting. But hey, that's just something I wasn't expecting, but whatever. Anyway, I think that's... I'm out. I don't know if anyone else has got anything to add.
Nope, I'm good. I already had my rant.
Me too.
I didn't really have one. I kind of made one up off the fly.
I'm excited to see what these new codexes do to the tournament scene. I know Michael doesn't understand it, mostly because he's a casual schlub. Anyway.
Yes, we shall definitely see particularly what the Custodes Codex brings, because I mean, I know Ram and I, and probably you as well, like, so we're really interested to see what its lore looks like and what we learn.
I do wanna pimp out my custodian army.
I'm not even going to ask what that entails.
It means she wants to make him glorious.
There it is. No, I want to bring it up to 3,000 points.
Oh, I took that far less appropriately than I should have done.
Wow, somebody's succumbing to Slanesh.
Such a dirty mind, Michael.
Right, let's wrap this
Michael,
up now.
really?
Now, we're wrapping this up now.
Jeez, dirty-minded, needs to hurry up.
Just assuming that's where your brain goes, because that's just what it does.
Hey, wow, how dare you assume my thought process?
After 36 episodes that are all at least an hour and a half, I think I'm genuinely quite justified to do so.
And on that bombshell...
Quite.
Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us for another episode of Adeptus Podcastus. I had a lot of fun with this one. As always, I'm Alexis the Egoqueen.
This is Tactica Imperialis.
And this is Remlace from 40K Theories.
Love you guys. Bye.